Hello Stampers, this is Kate with Kate's Creations, here to share another Stampin' Up! Card with you today. Today I am going to be casing a card that is found on page 74 of the current 2022-23 annual catalog. Let me open that up. Here we go. And it's this one right here. And I used different designer series papers, but other than that, pretty much followed the same format. So let's get started. Let me see, where's my... There's the card. Okay, so I started with your standard basic white thick card base that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and burnished to make a side fold A2 greeting card. Then, I usually do this. Let's go ahead and go through the list of what we have. I'm going to be using these beautiful shapes dies. They carried over from last year, and they have a variety of shapes. I'm going to be using for this card this smallest hexagon. Yeah, hexagon shape. Had to think. Hexagon is 6, yes. So yeah, that's the one there we're using. I'm going to use hand-pinned petals for the sentiment. Just feel better, friend. I like that. This is the Honeybee Home bundle, and I'm going to be using this flower and the bumblebee and this die for the stems, and of course this die to cut out the flowers once they're colored. And then I also added a little bling using the elegant faceted gems. Okay, now we'll get going. So I had to stamp 2 of the flowers. I used Tuxedo Memento black ink, and I've already colored one. And we're going to be coloring with blender pens and the inks, and I'll be showing you that in a minute. Then this is Old Olive. And these are just the 2 stems cut out. So you need 2 stems and 2 sets of flowers. And here's the little bumblebee right here. He's already been stamped and die cut. And then you'll need a variety of these hexagons. And I am using Pretty Prince Designer Series paper. I didn't have the other kind, and I think it came out just as striking. I hope you do too. And so, being double-sided, I was able to just cut out what I needed. So one side has kind of a ferns and that look, and the other side's more like splotches and blotches. And so I cut 1, 2, 3. Looks like 3 so far. I'm trying to get a count because I didn't count it before. Then from the other opposite side, I cut 3 whole ones. Looks like 4 whole ones. And then I've got 2 partial ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 partial ones. And then from Calypso Coral, which is the color of these, I cut 3, 4 of those and cut one of them in half. And you'll see the layout in just a minute. But yeah, so that's what you're going to need to die cut out. Now, when you're doing the Designer Series paper, you could actually layer that and cut 2 out at a time. The cardstock did not work for me to do that, but these worked just fine and cut out 2 at a time. So it saved me a little bit of the cranking on the Stampin' Cut emboss machine. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these colored, and then we'll move on to building the front of the card. So, like I said, we're using the blender pens and ink pads, and I've already used these, so I'm trying to make sure I get the same colored end. And so this is Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to color the flowers here with Fresh Freesia. Now, when you use the blender brushes on the basic white, you don't want to fuss around too awfully much. It will start to pill up the paper. The cardstock will start to pill up. So don't fuss around too much. Do it, get it done, and move on. If you need to add a little more color, you can always come back and do that, and I will be doing that. Right now, I'm just going to fill them in, and I'm not worried. I'm staying kind of light right now. I'm going to come back and add some darkness accents. The more you ink the pen, the darker it will be. And when you first start to color with it, it might be darker. So if you're looking for a more consistent color, you may have to have a piece of scratch paper handy so that you can kind of adjust the color as it comes off of your pen to make sure your coloring stays consistent. Okay, and you can see they're all kind of just all monotone. So then I came back and I decided I really wanted the buds to be darker, because typically they are before they open up. They're a lot darker in color. So I'm going to go back and make the buds. I hope you can see that. Yes, you can. My monitor can see it anyway, so I'm hoping you can too. And then I'm just going to add some accents of darker on each of the flowers. I'm going to put darker on the inside of this flower. This one, I'm just going to come around the edges a little bit. This one, I'm just going to come out from the center with some darker. This one, I will do this petal and across the top. And this one, I'm going to come up like this and create some streaks in it from the base out. And so there's my flowers. And then, close that up. Then I'm going to do the leaves with Old Olive. And I think that's the other end of my pen, yes. And even though the lines for the stems are black, I did run over them with green. And if it went around outside of the, you know, got a little, I guess fat is what you'd call it, around the stem, that's okay. I just liked the idea of a little bit of color in there for the stems rather than the black. And it ends up looking just fine doing it that way. Just like a shadow of green around the edge of the stem, and it doesn't make it look bad at all. I kind of liked it. Yeah, and then just down the stem a little bit like that. So there is the flower, and then the bumblebee is colored with crushed curry. And we just add the stripes to this little guy here. Kind of an orangey color, but it looks good when it's done. And there's our bumblebee, all finished. Now those markers, those blenders, they can be cleaned by simply taking your piece, let me get the end I used, and your pen, and laying it kind of on its side and going like this until you see it start to run pretty clear. And I turn it a little bit. I probably put way too much ink, but you can see how it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And look at that. Now it's ready to use for a different color. And even though the tip might be stained, you can still use it with other colors, and you don't have to have one for every color. Okay, so there's those pieces. Now it's time to build the front. We will need our stamp and seal for this. And I'm going to, what I did when I did this originally is I did the whole layout on here just to kind of see how it would go. But now I have my sample, and so I'm going to just follow my sample for the most part. And the trick is getting everything laid out so that you have space for everything when you carry the pattern across, if that makes sense. And so I can see from the original how much space I have here, and so I'm just getting really close to that, okay? And then that will help me with my layout. Okay, I'm going to start with a piece like this and put some Stamp and Seal on the back. You could have done these with some double-sided adhesive on the back. Then all you'd have to do is peel and stick. That might be a lot easier. See, I'm just kind of gauging where I put that one, and I think it was just about like that. And then I'm leaving like an 1/8 inch gap's going to come between each one of them. Let's see. That looks pretty close. I think we'll be okay there. It's a little tricky sometimes to lay these out, but once you get your first piece, then it's just a matter of lining them up. So now the next one is going to be a solid. And we had a couple of really nice days here. And now today it's dark and gray and rainy. But everything needs a little water once in a while, so that's okay. And then I'm going to put a piece. Oh, this looks nice. It's got a nice different pattern. I'm going to put a piece there. I'm trying to kind of interchange the patterns a little bit so that they're not all in one place. So this looks a little different. So then I can put this here with that border. And we'll come back and cut that edge off in a little bit. Okay, then let's see. Then I need one that's got the more blotched look. And it's going to be next. And then we'll switch back to the one with the stems on it for down here. And there's row 1. And then one of my half pieces that's a solid color. Get some on the tip of that. There we go. It's going to go right here. Just like that. Then we have, I'm going to put the solid on next, and so it's going to go here. I'm putting on one of the more kind of blotchy looking ones. I don't know how to describe it any differently. And it's going to go here, just leaving that gap again. And then we're going to turn over one of the others and put it next, like this. And then, let's see. Oh, I didn't want that one there. Let's see if I can get it up. Careful, 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 because I need it. Yeah, there we go. No, I wanted to put another solid. Here's what I wanted to do. Yes. So, good. We were able to save it. So, I'm going to put another solid here, like this. And I don't suppose it really matters. I mean, it's totally up to you how you set your design out. And I'm going to put another solid. This is only side-by-sides that I have. It's just these two that are the same. Just like that. There we go. And then we can bring this piece back, and it's going to go right here. Like that. And this piece, now in the one in the catalog, it was really easy because it was stripes and that and solids kind of, and so it was really easy to tell what went where. Then I'm going to put this solid, this other half of the solid piece is going to go over here like this. Not going to need very much of it. Get it lined up right. I'm going to be trimming some of that off. Let's see, what else do we need? Need another one of these. So this is the trickiest part of the card. We're going to go like this. And then you can tell I'm not exactly the same, and I don't think that you'd ever get it exactly the same because I had some room for some pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit on this corner, and I'm going to tuck it in there with that. I don't care how small it gets. Do I need any other pieces? I did one down here, but I don't know that I really have room for one in this way, the way this one came out. I think I'm going to leave that alone. So I'm not going to use those other two pieces, I don't think. Oh, yes, I'll use one more up here. I'm going to put one right here. So it leaves some white space, which is kind of pretty. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to just trim it down. We'll open it up and get these parts trimmed off. I'm going to have to clean my scissors. And this one. This one. And then I've got some here that I have to fold the card closed because they're on the fold line. Trim them off. You know, I really appreciate the people that have the ability to do a very professional look with their videos, but for me, you're just going to get down home simple. And I hope you like it and I hope you enjoy it. If you do, I hope you'll subscribe and or leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Here's the Feel Better Friend I'm doing with the Tuxedo Black Memento, and I'm just going to stamp it right here on this, right there, like that. And now we're going to put the flowers and stuff on. And I did that with glue dots. And I actually just put my glue dots here. I've got a glue dot right there. And I'm going to stick a leaf to it that way. And I'm going to stick a leaf to it this way. More straight up, I think. Like that. And then I'm going to pick up a glue dot, put it on top of those, and I'm going to put a flower kind of in here, like that. And then it's going to need another glue dot to stay together, so I'm going to put another one on, all right in that same spot, you can see. And this just helps hold everything together so I can get it positioned. And now it's ready to attach to the card. So I just peel up the whole thing, and I'm going to put some glue dots on the back of my flowers and stuff to get them to stay in place. They are just going on flat. I'm not trying to dimensionalize these at all. So we'll give them a few glue dots. We'll see how that goes together. That should be enough. And then it's just a matter of setting it on here where however you like it. Don't want to cover up my words. I think that looks just fine. Okay, and then my bumblebee, I did put him on with a dimensional, get my dimensionals out. And I just used a mini, of course. right in the middle of his little fat body. And put him up here, just like that. He's getting ready to go get some pollen or to pollinate another flower. And if you felt the need to attach these down, you could. I don't have the need to do that. And then I brought in the Elegant Faceted Gems. There's 3 colors, 2 sizes, and they have one color here that's kind of a peachy kind of color that I thought was perfect for this card. And I used the larger of the 2 and just put 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then the card is done. So I hope you enjoyed today's card. I hope you'll consider, again, subscribing to my blog, YouTube channel. I also have a blog, katespapercreations.org, and I hope that you will check into that, because there I list specials. Right now I'm running a contest because I accidentally ordered a full set of the brand new in color ink pads, and so I'm kind of running a little contest where if you purchase $50 increments, every $50 increment you spend through my online store, you get a ticket to an entry to try and win the set of ink pads. So you want to check that out. All the details are there, plus all the new stuff about what the new June paper pumpkin will be. And this will still be, you still have time to subscribe to that. That comes up, you have to subscribe on or before June 10th in order to get the June kit. So I hope you enjoyed today. Thanks for stopping by.